Welcome to CBT News with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hi everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick with CBT News. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today we're on location at Hennessy Ford, Hennessy's new Ford dealership in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're joined by Dennis McGinn, who is the founder of RapidRecon, Seve Astorg, who is the founder of iPacket. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so big news. You guys are doing some phenomenal things together, making big waves out there. So if you would, Dennis, fill us in. What from your perspective, tell us about the partnership that you guys have and how you feel your clients are going to benefit from it.
Yeah, sure. So we've really set the standard in the industry for the time to line, getting the cars ready to sell. And it's really been up to the dealer to figure out if they want to take that information on what was invested in the car,
sure,
and use that in the sales process.
Right.
So we have done a pretty good job of making it easy for people to be accountable in that process. So it moves very fast, and so, but we've never really understood how we could use this to help them directly with the sales process.
To get that information out to the consumer, because as we all know, so much work is getting done to these vehicles in Recon, and now that you've expedited that process, the cars are getting out in time. But it seems like consumers still are saying, well, what's been done to the car, right? And we're losing that opportunity to build value.
Right. And there's a critical point, and I didn't really understand that, but as I work with our customers like Hennessy, they would mention, well, you know, we have a relationship with a company called iPacket, and we use that a lot. It really helps to work the sales process. Our people send it out, there's tracking, they know how to follow up, it works really well. But we're missing one big piece.
Right.
And that was the reconditioning.
Right.
And it's a big number because you're putting a couple $1,000s in these cars.
That's right.
And you don't want to tell them about that later.
That's right.
You want that to be right up there as they're looking at these. And then the consumers are smart.
Sure.
They're going to do their own homework. They're not going to be sold. They're going to buy.
So enter Seve. You've got the solution that these dealers are looking for, because as you know, many dealers want that information to be shared with the consumer, especially prior to negotiating the deal, right?
Oh yeah, and that's where we operate, is what we call our pre-number process, and that's what we educate and try to help our dealerships with. And we started this back in 2012, and the whole goal, really, when we started this, was to provide our customers better information, digitally, and that's what we were able to put together.
What are some of the things that are included in iPacket for the dealers? What are some of the key points that you're sharing with the consumers?
Well, the quick I guess answer to that question is we sit down with every dealer, because not every dealer is exactly the same and they want to do their sales process. There's some standard documentation that we include with every car, and it's just stuff like the vehicle history report, the original window sticker on the car, and now the reconditioning information as well, and then stuff that is specific to the dealer that helps separate them in the network. But iPacket, in a lot of ways, it's a real simple solution to a problem that every dealer has. There's a lot of documentation that surrounds the cars we sell, and that documentation, if used properly, can have a big impact on the value proposition to the customer and help educate them about the value of the car and focus them on a place that's not directly on the price. And if used properly, it can have a big impact.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And today, with used cars being front and center as we sit here at the end of June, and now here we are in the middle of a chip shortage, which means used cars are now at an all-time demand, generating great gross profits. But everyone in the industry knows that's not going to last long. We need to start building strategies now for when the chips start getting shipped out and we see used cars being less important than they are today, right? In terms of making the bottom line. So this is probably a great time for dealers to take a look at a program like this, right?
Oh yeah, we hope the grosses last forever, right?
Yeah, they're not going to.
The good thing about what we're doing here is that solid fundamentals never go out of style.
Right.
If you're doing a good job with your pre-number process and how you're presenting the value proposition to the customer before you give them numbers, those fundamentals in that process in your sales department, it can return no matter if what the market's doing. So I think I think that good fundamentals don't go out of style.
Yeah, for sure. And this really is reminiscent of the evidence manuals, right? When I got into the business in the early '80s, we as salespeople, we all had evidence manuals to say this is the vehicle, this is the dealership, these are the awards we won, this is all the information that you need. But you guys take it to a whole nother level. I mean,
yeah, and you know, we talk to dealerships about this, and you know, dealers have been building evidence manuals and building value in what they're doing,
right.
You know, through documentation, through receipts,
right.
Really since, you know, the first used car was sold.
That's right.
So in a lot of respects, we really didn't reinvent the wheel. We just brought it into, you know, the digital world and also automated the process. You know, before, dealers had to build these by hand. So they had to, you know, get the folder and print out all the documentation.
Right.
And then that takes time in itself, because we got a lot of cars out there to be able to collect all this information, but then manage it. And if a salesperson, you know, happens to give a document away, when you pull it out next, it's missing, so then they're incomplete.
That's right.
So when we looked at this, we really wanted to automate the process in general, make it to where it was no extra work on the dealership, and the presentations built themselves. Sure. And then give the dealer a way to share these digitally with clients, because it's hard to get that paper and, you know, shove it through the phone or scan it. You know,
and everybody that receives that, you know, not everybody, but the vast majority has somebody in their circle that is a car specialist that says, well, before you buy a car, make sure you send me any information you get on it, and I'll look it over. So this way they can take that information that the dealership has emailed to them or sent to them or text to them, and then forward it to others for consultation as well, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, they can take it either, they can text it over, you know, or send it on an email, or you know, you can post and share on social media or apps like WhatsApp. You know, that's our program's integrated with all of those. Okay. But yeah, it's all about, you know, building trust with the customer. When somebody trusts you, they feel comfortable. When they feel comfortable, they can make a purchasing decision. And we want to use, you know, the documentation on these cars to help build that trust. Right. Just like we've been doing forever. We just want to do it with the customer that isn't necessarily just sitting in our showroom. It works great for them too, but you know, that digital customer, we can really give them that showroom experience right in their living room and show them documentation that'll help build value.
Dennis, we've talked about on previous shows, we've talked about the importance of sharing the recon of the car, because dealers will spend $1,000, $2,000, sometimes $3,000 or more reconning a car to make it right for that customer, to make it front line ready. But yet that story is missed. It's not told to the consumer. We'll discount the car. We're very quick as managers and salespeople, and I can say this because I was one, you know, to say, well, what's it going to take today, you know, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, to, you know, can I discount another $1,000 or, you know, this or that, and not necessarily share with them all of the great things that's been done to that vehicle as soon as it came into the dealer's inventory. Right. Talk to us about the importance of that.
Yeah. So our dealers try and do the right things with these cars, right? I mean, they want them to be sale ready. They don't want them to come back to them because they didn't do something or misrepresented something. So we've been working that side of it for a long time, but this is completely different in that it bridges the fixed and variable side of the house for dealers.
That's right.
And the ones that I've talked to about this on both sides have said, oh yeah, transparency. And they both get the same thing, right? On fixed and variable, it's transparency. Right. And they all want it. They all want that. Right. So I'm really excited about this because it really works to reinforce both of our businesses. Sure. Okay. And the other big part about this is I've done a little homework and gotten to know Seve and his people, is their culture is just integrity, just like ours is. Right. And so that's part of what we're providing to our dealers and our groups is that we're now becoming a greater part of their business strategy. That's right. Okay? Because we want them to have this as a differentiator, so that if others don't, they're going to be second class.
Yeah, Seve, if a consumer goes into one of your showrooms or a showroom that you've got your software in, and then they go to they're given this incredible presentation, right, all about the car, all the information right up front, which is kind of what they're expecting today, and then they go to the next dealership while they shop, and that dealership doesn't have that. That's not looking too good on that next dealership, is it?
Well, no. I mean, sales in a lot of respect, you know, especially, you know, value selling is about educating the customer, setting a good expectation of what you should expect at every dealership you walk into. Right. And, you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of misconceptions in the automotive industry in general. I mean, you know, from a customer standpoint, they're trained to look for certain indicators that help them make a decision in their buying process. use the vehicle history report for an example. You know, if I'm a customer and they've kind of been coached that, hey, if you see the one owner, you know, badge, you see a clean history report, then you're good to go. That car's, you know, good shape. And in some respects, that's the truth.
Sure.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that the car's in good shape mechanically. And as a dealer, you know, obviously my family's in the business. We see cars every day that come in that are one owners, no accidents, that we end up sending to the auction because mechanically they just aren't up, you know, they don't meet the grade.
Right.
And you know, I think that's what we want to educate our customer, that listen, buying a car without seeing the reconditioning receipts can be an expensive mistake.
That's right.
If the dealer did the work that they were supposed to do, then there'll be a receipt of the transaction. We can help dealers put that up front, especially with this integration with Dennis. And that was one of the things that I liked the most about the integration is, you know, when you looked at what Dennis is doing, we were able to pull some reconditioning in from the DMS, but the data that he's got on the reconditioning, not only what was done, but the process of how it was done is really going to enhance the customer experience. I mean, everything down to photos of what the car looked like before it was reconditioned. And that could be a huge asset, you know, especially when you're trying to explain to people why you did the work.
Oh, no question.
You know, so that way they don't get scared of what happened. You want to make them feel comfortable in it.
That's
so
right.
We're really excited about it.
It's total peace of mind for that consumer.
Absolutely.
That's what wins the customer today, you know. And it gets away from price, which I think a lot of dealers are going to, you know, completely understand and love about a program like this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Dennis McGinn, RapidRecon founder, and Seve Astorg, founder of Auto iPacket. These are two companies that are making big waves out there. So congratulations on your new partnership.
Thank you.
You know, I can't wait to do a follow-up with you. Maybe bring a dealer in next time, and we'll talk about from their perspective what impact it has on their business.
Sure.
That's
great.
Terrific, Jim. Thank you.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
us.
Thanks for watching CBT News, the voice of the retail automotive industry. Fitzpatrick, Pash, Kane, Lewis, Greenfield, Reed, Dawson, Lopes, Rice. The best lineup in retail automotive. CBTnews.com. Subscribe today.